Well, it's officially springtime. As you can see, everything is green. Things are blooming. Starting from the entrance to the house, we have the forsythia blooming like crazy. Creates nice little barrier from the road, blocking all the views. And the very first one to give me flowers. From that point, we're gonna go into my garden, where you see some of the flowers blooming as well. These are hyacinths. They're mixed with brambles. Brambles needs to be removed. But you can see how pretty they are. They create a nice little ribbon of flowers, different colors of course. Let me show you. It's a little daffodil hiding. It's beautiful. On a sea of white, we have bright yellow. The colors, of course, are all different, and I like mixing them up a bit just to give it a little bit more texturized feel to it. Let's see some of these. They are gorgeous colors. I'm hoping the camera is gonna pick it up, but you never know. They're all different. From the very light lilacs to dark purple with stripes to pink stripes, all different. Behind all of these are my grapes, which you really can see between the brambles. Brambles are what prevents the deer from eating them down to nothing. So it looks messy, but it's actually functional. Some of this will be removed, of course, but still, it's one way to keep the deer from eating my plants. Coming up in the middle, you can see my peony starting to set buds. And some of my stuff growing in the main garden. Here's a small bed. You can see I have multiple things growing here. Here is my propagation station. That's where I took cuttings from the bushes, currant bushes. Next to my onions, a little bit of lettuce, and some strawberries. Not a lot, but enough for me and Peter to eat. Peter likes coming here when strawberries in season. I find him here and nibbling once in a while. I'm more interested in my salads. You can see some of the leaves already missing. We've been nibbling on them as they grow. Another one of my beds is flowers. There's some varieties of daffodils and a little bit of grape hyacinths. The kings are pretty much done blooming. You can see they're finishing up, but there's always something new coming in. Then you have these yellow ones, they're not kings, and then you have these white beauties. They're so delicate and they're extremely fragrant. The one that I'm really looking forward to are these guys. They're just gonna start opening up in a couple of days. They're multiple heads and they do really well here. Hopefully in the fall they're gonna get transplanted to my sister so she can enjoy them. There are some of the surviving tulips in this little bed. As you can see, one of them starting to open up, multi-layered. There's the white ones behind it. Most of the tulips here have been destroyed by squirrels. But it's fine. This bed is actually mostly for the bushes, like these currants. These are doing really well. You can see I chopped up some of the branches, and that's the ones that I'm trying to propagate, so my sister can enjoy them later on. And you can see the cut up part. And the small tulips here and there. Honey badger is not doing well. I think I need to move the bush. That's the honey badger in the back. The other two died off. Another bed that's on the opposite side of the garden. You can see some more strawberries. Yes, I do keep my dandelions here. I don't let them go into seed, but I do let them to go into bloom, because that's the first food that the bees have. So I'm not pulling them out. You can see some salads here. There's some tulips here too. Some of them are just gonna start blooming. Some of them already starting to show flowers. Some more salads here to eat. A little bit of garlic. Not a lot, but honestly we don't really need a lot. And yet another bed. You can see some of the greenery just starting to wake up. This is spinach. Some radishes here. And looks like one of my little asparagus is just starting to wake up as well. There's some asparagus here, but it's a little early for it. Coming out of the big garden into the herbaceous one, we have some trees here. These are pawpaw trees. They don't have leaves yet, but I want to show you these guys. These are flower buds. So if you see the little round things, these are all the flowers that pawpaw is going to have. So I'm actually excited to have them. Of course, some flowers here. It's a mix. There's some daffodils, different varieties as always. Some really lovely multiplet ones. There's some white ones. There are these gorgeous yellow with orange centers. I like varieties. And they're actually surrounded by roses. I don't know if you can see them. Deer usually strip them down, but these are rose bushes. I'm really hoping to have some flowers this time. Last year the deer ate every single one of them. Right above it, my cherry trees. So this is a small one, and there are two large ones. They're just starting to open. Not quite open, but getting there. This is a black cherry, and these ones are also opening up, just opening up. You can see a lot of buds. They're beautiful. Lots and lots and lots of buds. It's very rare for us to find actually cherries, but I enjoy the flowers. The tangled mess behind it is my grapes. So these are the wine grapes, not the good table grapes that I would eat. And honestly, I'm not sure what to do with them. I can chop it all down, or I can let it be as is. They are growing. The problem, raccoons and bears get every single grape we have. Last year a bear tried climbing onto this cherry, and this was the result. broke a huge branch because it was trying to get to the grapes. Oh well, I might just chop it all down. Here on the bottom I have gooseberries. They're just waking up. I need to give them a little bit of food. They never disappoint. They always produce something to eat. Coming into the backyard. This is our patio. This is my peach tree, just starting to open. Can't really see it, but let me get closer to it. This is my peach tree. Again, I enjoy the flowers, but we almost never get peaches. We might get one or two to try. One thing I am looking forward to seeing are these beauties. Looks like they're gonna open anytime soon. This is our Japanese maple. Just gonna start opening soon. More daffodils. Burning bush grew huge. This is a tree that was planted in memory for Wally. Thank you, Rochelle, for sending me this beautiful dogwood. It's not open yet, but it will open. Then here we have some of the hellebores. This way. They are beautiful. They start with this delicate color and then turn green as it ages. Right next to that hellebore is this monstrosity. You can see it's kind of sprawled everywhere and it needs to be removed. This is goji berry. All of this needs to be ripped out. Goji berry has got to go. There's more hellebore and they are huge. I need to separate the bush into multiple. It got too big for its own good. Lots of hellebores. More goji berries. And for those who are asking if it's actually goji berry, yes it is. You can see goji berry still hanging on them from last year. Unfortunately, it spreads like wildfire. Here's a pear tree, baby one. It bloomed really well last year. It got damaged afterwards, and it's not blooming this year. I think it's taking a break. Coming on the back end of the backyard, we have this huge nectarine. It's about 40 feet up, maybe 30 feet. You can see the amount of blooms is absolutely ridiculous. Once again, we never get a single piece of fruit. Better get them all. The apple tree right next to it, 2 of them. It's too early for them. Don't really have any fruit on them either yet. I know there are buds, but I have not seen any of them open yet. One of these days I'm gonna try at least one piece of fruit that grew on my own property, and not just for the bears or raccoons or squirrels or birds. Coming up on the back entrance, this is our wisteria lane with on both sides we have clematis growing, just waking up. And then you have this little wilder. And when I mean wilder, it's kind of hard to explain. Well, not hard. For most people, it's a beautiful tree. When I planted it, was supposed to be a lovely apricot. The only problem, the original apricot died, and the rootstock survived and sent out this root. It turned into something, we just don't know what it is, but because once again, this tree never survived long enough to produce fruit. Squirrels get and birds get everything. But again, I enjoy the flowers. It's gorgeous. Just look at these fantastic flowers. Beautiful, isn't it? Tons and tons and tons of flower, and I can't get one single piece of fruit. It is lovely, truly. Right next to it is my apple tree. This one will have apple blooms, as far as I can see. They're just starting to set. The apple tree is just waking up. What I unfortunately did not do is trim it. I might have to do that soonish and spray it from bugs, because I already see bug infestations. There's another apple tree. That's the only 2 apples that survived here. We had 6 apples here, and we only have 2 now. Of course, there are some flowers on the bottom. Flowers are surrounding me at all times. You can see some daffodils blooming, peonies waking up, and you have some wild strawberries, or alpine strawberries. I should not say wild. The circle bed around the pond. Most of the flowers are already done. These used to be spring flowers, the crocuses, but they're pretty much down here. Here's my peach, and on the very back is my pear. Right next to the house. This little guy is persimmon. Did not wake up yet. Still sleeping. Last night we had a visit from the bear and it got a little bit scratched up, but it's okay. Persimmon is the last one to wake up. I'm not worried. The pear, on the other hand, is in full bloom. And I mean full bloom. You can see the chain where my bird feeder was hanging up from the 2nd story, and the bear still got to it. We try to put it as high as possible, but the bear is smarter than you. It climbs. Anyway, I'm enjoying the pear blooms because I know that's as much as I'm gonna get out of it. Last year we had tons of pears, and just before they were ripe, they all disappeared one by one, and I watched them disappear every single night. Raccoons were eating them like crazy. So right next to the pears and persimmon, we have this little side garden next to the pond. These are my berries. You can see some of the blooms are gonna start setting up soon. And these are my climbing roses. They're bright red. I actually enjoy them quite a bit. I do have to move it out of this area. And right next to this is my plum. You can see the amount of blooms. It hasn't opened yet, but it has blooms setting up. We always get blooms on all the trees. We just don't get fruit. Annoying, I know. But in spring, I get to enjoy beauties. And of course, I get to watch my little fishies. Actually, it's Peter's fishies. He likes the fish more than I do. There are two surviving tulips. These are parrot tulips, one yellow and one bright red. I think this year I'm gonna dig them up and see if I can save the bulbs and transplant, because the parrots are huge, double the size of the regular tulips. My rose bush, bright red flowers. Always get destroyed by the deer, but it comes back every year because this is a climber and it's almost impossible to kill climbers. So let's go to the back. One more shot at the beautiful trees. So coming up on the back side of the house, actually on the side of the house, this is where I grow all my hellebores. You can see by clumps. There's quite a few of them here, and multiple varieties. So we have these little guys. They're beautiful. And you have these fantastic ones. I love the coloring on them. They're amazing. Then multi-layered yellow ones. And then the black ones, or they're maroon color, but they look like black. Creates a nice colorful picture. And coming to the second one, again, different varieties. There's some pink ones that were blooming early on. There's some yellow ones in the back. Beautiful. There's some more deep maroon ones. Again, these were blooming the very first one. They have been blooming for 2 months now. 100% worth it. And on the front, in front of my garage door, I have my figs. Right now there are only 2 of them. I gave away all the cuttings. Had quite a few cuttings before. You can see they're awake. They're budding up. Yes, I'm trying to make more cuttings because I need to trim this poor baby down. But you can see it's doing well. There's a little baby fig coming on. So one way or another, we should have some figs for eating. There are some figs here too. Yeah. This one also has figs in it. There's some bulbs propagating. These are freesia bulbs. They're just starting to wake up. You see them? They're just waking up. Freesia loves heat, so I put them outside for a couple of days. But Saturday they're going back inside because we're dipping down to 35, and Freesia does not tolerate that. And back to my driveway full of flowers. That concludes my around the house blooming tour. See you soon for the next update. Thanks for stopping by.